If you are looking for functional tracker spreads to incorporate in your journal that actually improve your habits in life instead of just becoming a drain to keep up with, and they look pretty too, I think this is the video for you. Hey friends, I'm Anna. I've been bullet journaling since 2017, and today I'm going to share with you the very best of my tracker spreads. The layouts that have worked best for me, both in ease of keeping up with, but also in actually helping me monitor and improve various aspects of life. Grab some tea or coffee, get cozy, and let's dive into it. We're going to be going over 7 different tracker ideas, and for most of these, I'm going to share with you actual completed examples in my various journals. We're starting off in my current 2025 journal with a cleaning tracker. So the main 2 sections I have, and I started out with this spread by just brainstorming on a separate sheet of paper all the things I need to do to keep my home clean and how often I would ideally do those things. So I would definitely complete that step first. For monthly tasks, I've listed them in this box here and then written out the first 6 months of the year. In each column is where I put a little X if I completed that cleaning task that month. The bi-weekly works pretty much the same way, except for I added dots in between the month names since they should be done twice a month. And I actually switched to, instead of using an X, I write the date that I completed it. I realized I would spread out the cleaning between all of these on different days usually, and so using the dates instead of an X just helped me keep track of when everything was last done. Now we have some tasks on the bottom that are for things that fall outside of these 2 time ranges. First, weekly and dailies, and these aren't trackers to check off every single week or every single day because that would be a little too much, I think. But just when I was brainstorming, what does my ideal clean home look like, I wanted to go ahead and record the tasks that I would want to do weekly and daily, just to serve as a sort of inspiration and a reminder whenever I flip back to this spread. Here we have a little box for annual tasks or just anything that needs to be done less often. And this last done section is for any tasks that aren't on a schedule, but I just want to keep track of when I'm doing them. For example, descaling my espresso machine. I don't have a schedule for that. I just do it whenever the light comes on or I feel like it's gone too long. I think this is a great comprehensive spread for all the cleaning tasks, no matter what schedule or how often they need to be done on. Now let's talk about habit trackers, which I think is one of the most popular trackers for people to include in their bullet journal. I've laid out a few of my favorite options for keeping track of these on a monthly basis. First, and I think most common, is the simple calendar layout. You write out a mini calendar for the month. I've also added the days of the week up top. Write the habit you're tracking and then use a marker or whatever symbol to mark off each day you complete that habit. So let's say I exercised on the 31st, I would just add a little color dot to keep track of that. You can draw these monthly calendars in a variety of ways as well. I love these designs where I could add some leaves to the side. And then these bottom examples can give you an idea of if you wanted to track something specific for that daily habit. So for example, I used to track the exact amount of ounces of water I was drinking each day. So I wrote my goal out to the side, and then instead of using an X, I just left it empty and then would write in the number of ounces. Or if you're tracking a habit that you want to do multiple times a day, like walking 2 times a day, you can use an X where each slash represents 1 walk. Another format that's handy, especially if you're tracking a lot of habits and you don't want to draw out a ton of mini calendars, is to use a log. So I numbered the dates of the month, wrote my habit titles up top, and then just drew a dot on each day that I could fill in with my colors. Or if you're not into decorating your journal, it's just purely functional, you can just use a pen and use an X as well. Now let's talk about mood trackers, another very popular spread with bullet journalers. The most common format I see online and what I used to do are these fun drawings where you use one color per day to represent a certain mood. But I started to realize those were lacking in context and complexity for me, and I wanted a better system that was actually helping me make insights with my mood. And this is the best tracker format I stumbled upon so far. It's another log format, which means it's so easy to set up. You just start off with the dates of the month down the page, and I also like to add the days of the week. And for each day, I get a whole line to write about my mood. So that means I can add context of why I was feeling a certain way. I could also record multiple moods for the day. And so I added a color key as well. At the end of the month, I would go through and highlight each respective mood with its color. And so I still get that kind of overview at the end of my month, looking at my moods, seeing what was most common, if there's any patterns. Now moving on to a monthly sleep tracker, and let's actually flip to a different page here. I started by labeling the hours of the night. So this starts at 9 p.m. and goes through 10 a.m. And then the dates of the month are going down the side. I have my color key at the bottom, but basically the yellow highlight represents when I was actually asleep. And then I also went ahead and added the hours into the side so I could know the exact time. And then in the middle, I write how many total hours of sleep that was. So the color coding is really nice because I can just kind of see a pattern of like how early I was going to bed, or if I was shifting to going to bed later for a certain time period, how consistent I was with my sleeping routine. But then if I want specific information, I can look at the exact times. I also have a note section on the side, so I could write down anything I wanted to note. So maybe why I went to bed late, if I felt rested, if I had trouble sleeping. Now, of course, you can keep a sleep log just from your own memory and keeping your own notes, but if you have any sort of sleep tech that's also analyzing your sleep, you might have even more in-depth metrics to record. I have this Ultrahuman Ring Air, so with that data and more recent sleep trackers, I've also had columns in this note section for my overall sleep score, how many tosses and turns I had. You can really track anything, and if you're serious about wanting to improve your sleep, I cannot recommend this Ring Air enough. And Ultrahuman is also kindly the sponsor of today's video. So this Ring Air is a smart ring that monitors sleep, movement, and recovery. It connects to an app on your phone that helps you see and interpret all the data. This also makes keeping the sleep log really easy. Let's check out my sleep last night. This gives me so many metrics: how long I was in bed versus actually asleep, scores on things like temperature, restfulness, timing. This is what's most interesting for me to look at. It shows me each stage of sleep I was in throughout the night. From the education in the app and my personal metrics, I've realized that my heart rate drop is something I need to work on, which tells me I need to put an emphasis on being done eating earlier and trying to be more relaxed before bed. I was mainly excited to get this ring for improving my sleep, but you can also learn so many other things about your health. It's a great way to track movement, and it can even give you insights on when you're stressed or stimulated or relaxed. They also offer a lot of free add-ins for other things like cycle tracking, pregnancy insights, even vitamin D through sunlight exposure. The ring is also very convenient. I like that it's light and sleek, not a hassle to sleep in at all. So if improving your sleep is also a goal of yours, Ultrahuman did give me a discount for you guys of 10% off a Ring Air purchase. I'll put the link and information in the description box below. And thank you so much to Ultrahuman for sending me this amazing tool. Now let's talk about exercise trackers. I have two different layouts for you guys depending on how you might want to use this. This first layout works for if you don't have a certain schedule, aka this workout needs to be done on this specific day. For each week, I created a little header across the page and then made a box for each workout. I wrote the workout name, created a little box in the corner, and filled that in with color whenever I completed that run. If I had multiple workouts, like I did start adding some strength training to this, I created 2 boxes for each one. My other option is for if you have a more specific program you're following that has workouts assigned to each day. And this is actually the exercise tracker that I'm using right now. So I've drawn a 4-week calendar. I only included Monday through Saturday because Sunday is my rest day for this program. And then I wrote out each specific workout in each box. I have my key up top, so the check is to indicate that I did complete that workout. Also, if I do ever get off schedule, I made a little note here that I might write the day of the week that I actually did the workout on. And then I also just wanted to track my walking this month, so I have a separate symbol for that. You can always use different symbols for the different types of workouts. I don't include a workout tracker for every single month, but this is mainly more when I'm, training for something or doing a specific plan. And I think that's good to keep in mind in general when we're thinking about trackers in our journal. I only use trackers for the things that I'm actively working on or that are a priority or a new habit I'm trying to establish, because it would be too much if I was trying to tackle every single one of these things at once. Next up, we have a gratitude log, which is one of the favorite practices that I've added to my journal. Writing things down that you're grateful for is such a mental boost and mindset shift. So this is a practice I would highly recommend you include in your journal. One of the easiest ways you can incorporate gratitude into your monthly routine is through a simple log. Like always, I start off with the days of the month and days of the week. And then I have a row to write something I'm grateful for that day. If you wanted to really challenge yourself though, I also occasionally make a bigger gratitude spread where I can write more things per day. I drew a box for each day and labeled the 3 rows 1, 2, 3, and every day I had to find 3 new things that I was grateful for that day. So no repeats, which means there are 90 different things I'm grateful for written down here. I think that makes it a little bit more of a challenge and kind of forces you to search for the things you might not typically think about being thankful for every day. Last but not least, we're finishing off with a non-monthly tracker spread, and this is one to keep track of your subscriptions. I think a lot of us have more subscriptions than we would like to think, so the practice of actually physically writing them all down, I think, is useful in and of itself to really see what we're spending on. I think the easiest way to keep track of these is to split it up by interval, and obviously you could extend this to 2 or more pages depending on how many subscriptions you have to list. The categories that I think are most helpful change per interval. So for monthly, we of course start with what the subscription is, the price, and then I really like having the next billing date. So you can see whenever something has already been billed, I go ahead and cross it off and then I write the next date. I also think it's helpful to have a little section for notes. Quarterly is very much the same, and I also wrote other for anything that might be like every 6 weeks or every 8 weeks. We have the subscription and cost again, and then the cycle, so how often is the frequency. And here's where I think the next billing date is also very important to record, because I think for a lot of these subscriptions, we're trying to figure out how often they should renew. I know we all hate having a subscription hit when we weren't ready for the refill, so keeping track of when the next one is coming is really helpful here. And then of course you could always make notes. Maybe it's time to schedule the face cream to be delivered less frequently, or we're running out of espresso beans, so we need to adjust that. Yearly is very much the same: the subscription, the cost, the next billing date, and notes. A lot of yearly subscriptions are bigger amounts, so it's always nice to check this ahead of time each month so you know if you're about to get hit with a bigger bill. Alright guys, those are all my best tracker layouts for you. I hope you got a few ideas for your own journal. If so, let me know in the comments. Remember, trackers should serve you, not the other way around, so focus on just your priorities and the things that are relevant to you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more journal setups.